Recording in progress. Greetings and welcome to the Rock and Roll podcast. Check out this record. My name is Mark. With me is one sharp-dressed man, Mr. Frankie D.
Maria. Hey, Mark, what's cooking, my friend? I thought you were going to say Di Maria.
Oh, this week's episode is totally cooking.
Yes.
But while it's simmering on the stove, I just want to remind our listeners out there exploring the world, talking to their friends about, this hilarious podcast that they listen to every other week.
Everybody's talking about it.
Remember to tell them, hey, man, check out this record. Is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever they may find fine podcasts. We're even on fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Not with language like that.
We're totally there. That's right, Mark. And everybody knows this. New episodes drip and drop directly to your ears every Friday, unless it's during the summer. And of course, for your listening pleasure.
So what the heck is check out this record? Great question. And thank you for asking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here on Check Out This Record, Frank, that's the other guy, and me, Mark, that's me, push the limits of our long-term friendship by recommending albums to each other.
We do.
To check out.
Yeah.
Then we get together here on this program and we talk about those albums and we give them a thorough track-by-track review.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a wide array of musical discussions, like in our Spotlight series, where we'll dig into a band's catalog like a shallow grave and see what comes out the other side.
Oh, man, absolutely. And we do Versus series where we pit two albums against each other and they duke it out for total stereo domination.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, see? I made that fast.
Yeah, you did. You kept me on my toes the whole time. Hey, if social media is your thing, be sure to check us out on Instagram, and we even have a Facebook group. What?
We do. We have both of those. Yes.
It's so crazy I could barely say it. We like to drop additional content, hopefully leaving you wanting more of Frank's musical insights and obsessions, and as much random nonsense as my brain can poop out. Plus, we'll let you know when they're piping hot off the presses, so you can be the first one to listen.
Right. And don't forget to pop on over to that world famous place we're telling you about, the Tube of the U, and watch us make these silly faces. You guys probably hate us already as we try to put the show together. And maybe there's some exclusive content coming you definitely don't want to miss. I could tell you that for sure.
So we're ending our summer vacation this week. Finally,
we are,
Mark, with a perfect record for summer. But unfortunately, that's not the only reason we've chosen this monster of a record this week. This week's episode is dedicated to none other than one Mr. Dusty Hill of the legendary ZZ motherfucking Top. We thank you for all your time, sir. Frank?
Yeah, R.I.P. Dusty, true musician, gentleman, and all around a good dude.
Hell yeah. That's right. We're not just talking about the biggest album of ZZ Top's career. We're talking about one of 1983's biggest album. In fact, Frank, it was ranked 39 in the top 100 albums of the 80s.
Ooh.
That's right. Frank, we'll talk more about some of the amazing albums that came out in 1983 a little later on. Ooh. But for now, let's talk about the pop rock masterpiece that is ZZ Top's 8th studio album, Eliminator, recorded at Ardent Studios, because reading is fun, in Memphis, Tennessee, across 1982. Look, they didn't put dates. I'm just telling you it was 1982, with the band's longtime manager, Bill Ham, acting as producer yet again. Eliminator was released March 23rd, 1983, spawning 3 massive videos, shooting the album straight up the charts, turning the members of the band into overnight pop sensations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you're unfamiliar with the previous 7 albums, you might not think this is a big change for the band. But the truth of the matter is that they were a pretty classic blues rock band, cleverly calling themselves that little old band from Texas, to downplay their sonic presence until they could melt your fucking face off with some good old down home guitar licks that never quit, one of rock and roll's most underrated rhythm sections, and of course, a signature sound that couldn't have come from any other band. Eliminator was a departure for the band. They had experimented with synthesizers and drum machines on the previous album, El Loco, which is, I highly recommend. I own it. Definitely pick that shit up. But Eliminator saw a stylistic evolution thanks to Billy Gibbons' growing passion for the emerging technology and the band's desire to push themselves into a new direction.
Yeah, now, Mark, there's a bit of controversy here I wasn't aware of when we picked out this album to honor Dusty. So why don't we address that real quick, and then we could get into the album.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was kind of news to me as well. I didn't know this. Apparently, in the pre-production phase of recording, Billy Gibbons worked with an engineer named Lyndon Hudson, who passed on who gave Billy the research that would suggest that most popular songs happen in a time signature of 120 beats per minute. Not in a time signature, it's just 120 beats per minute. That's a whole other conversation with time signatures. This is why most of the album happens to take place at 122 beats per minute. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
ZZ Top's management would deny this, saying the credit for the album's concept belongs solely to Billy Gibbons and producer Billy Ham. However, Hudson was awarded $600,000 after not being credited for writing the song Thug. And I'll add, there are some folks who have books about the band that suggest that Hudson actually deserved a lot more credit for this record.
Wow.
It's interesting. I wasn't there. I don't know. And the other thing was that, like, the guy who was like, oh yeah, he should have gotten all this credit, he also wasn't there. So I don't know, man.
Right. And it's funny that the thing that's being of debate outside of the writing for the song Thug is the beats per minute. Like, that's something, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there, that's really like the rarest thing to be heard of when you're like thinking that there's some sort of internal struggle between a band, that this guy is saying, hey, this has to be this beats per minute, and I'm going to take this all the way to a legal action.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to see what his contribution really was.
Totally.
We'll get into it, because you'll know there's a track later on where I'll mention, hey, Frank Beard and Dusty Hill, didn't play on this track. They were only credited on the album, and supposedly it was this guy.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously it was Thug. There's a lot of stuff where you go, man, this is kind of crazy, and it is kind of crazy, but at the same time, it's ZZ Top, man. So
absolutely. Now, Mark, how much of that classic car should we talk about here?
Oh, I can do it super quick. So the legendary car, the Eliminator, was a custom 33 coupe commissioned by Billy Gibson back in 1976 and wasn't finished until 83.
Wow. The
car was famous for its red finish and ZZ graphics streaking along the side. Launching the band Error, I wrote area instead of error because, dyslexia is fun like that. Of beautiful cars, beautiful women, and rock and roll. This is how most people, certainly in the 80s, were first introduced to the band. I know that's how I was.
Yeah.
But it's all due to that car, and that car is actually now at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for fans to,
so cool.
Check out. Yep.
Yeah. And speaking of things to check out, Mark, let's talk about this record already. You ready?
Absolutely. You got it, Frankie. So here we go. ZZ Top's 1983 masterpiece, Eliminator. Track 1, Gimme All of Your Lovin'. We've got Frank Beard kicking us off with his signature drive, really setting the tone for the whole album. The first single from the album was released in April of 83. And just like this record, we're rolling down the highway, windows down, stereo cranked as loud as it'll go, and everything feels all right. Frank, what is it about Gimme All Your Lovin' that makes it such a timeless number and drove it up the charts so damn fast?
Well, I mean, definitely the feeling you just described, right? I mean, that's part of it. But what a tune. I mean, it could be different for everyone, but what makes this such a timeless and a classic number? It's a number of things: the great guitar tone and riff, the rough and sometimes also smooth vocals from Billy Gibbons, the tight rhythm section, of course, of Beard and Hill, the hooky chorus, and of course, right? The video, which at the time was king. I could be wrong on this. And even though it was played frequently, I'd even have to say this just goes to show you how underrated the band could be. It's probably at the bottom of the tiers of play as far as all the other more poppy music at the time. But it's still got a whole shit ton of plays. And this is a classic song, man. It's a classic song. You cannot love it when it comes on.
Absolutely. It's that greatness of the blues, right? Give me your love and that desperation, and just set to such a rocking tune. Track 2, Got Me Under Pressure. One of the band's best known songs was not a single. I really missed opportunity not making a video out of this. Am I wrong? I mean, come on. But clearly became a fan favorite. One that the band often used as an opener playing live. Frank, what is it about this song, about a dominating woman, that we just love so much?
Dude, what a great opener for a show. Hard-hitting riff with E minor, and then that chorus. Billy pronounces those minor notes so well, which I've always loved on guitar. I mean, it's just a very comfortable space for me playing, and the fact that he did that just so perfectly is great. I also like how live, on a side note, Billy and Dusty alternate the vocals, which is cool. And I love the lyric, "She likes cocaine," because it really generates an edge for the song. Could be my favorite on the album.
Yeah, great tune, man. Really surprising it wasn't a single. I know.
I mean, has single all over it. Really, it does at the end of the day.
Yeah, so climbing all the way to number 8 on the Billboard mainstream rock charts is one of the band's most identifiable tunes. It's track number 3, Sharp Dressed Frank. For me, this song is as simple as a solid rock beat with a good amount of overdriven guitar and bass and the perfect set of nonsensical lyrics, reminding the dudes out there that looking good isn't just a job for the lady folk. Frank, you've always been a man of style. How does Sharp Dressed Man stack up for a band like ZZ Top?
Well, thank you, Mark. Although nowadays I'm resigned to gym shorts and workout shirts, but
thanks,
I do like myself a nice pair of slacks. So, listen, much like "Give Me All Your Lovin'," this song has, again, all the classic elements along with the video to make it timeless. It's a great blues rock number, and for its time, the band just seems to produce like these songs at ease. It was almost, I think, natural for them to come up with what to them they were just another day at the office with these songs. But I mean, really monumental in the grand scheme of music. What can I say? I mean, it's a classic song. I love it. Big smiles every time it comes on, and I don't get sick of it. So,
yeah. So here we are. We're at track 4. You know, the first 3 tracks right in that 120 beats per minute.
There you go. Good point.
But here we are. We're going to slow it down. I Need You Tonight, Frank.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. The band is giving us a little of the blues sound here that they've previously been known for. And after 3 big tracks to open the album, a change of pace here feels, don't mind me saying, so damn good. Frank, do you need me tonight?
Always, my brother. Listen, it's another great tune, and I don't care that it's 6 minutes long. This shows the world really the amazing ability of Gibbons with those double track solos. So good. And this is one where you put the headphones on and crank it up loud, and you won't be disappointed. Just such a good song, well written. Again, everything is just perfect in this whole mix. Beautiful song, beautiful.
Absolutely. Track 5, I've got the 6. Our man Dusty on vocals for this one. ZZ never above a good sexual innuendo. Lays it on nice and thick here with this old school rock number that just drives that Texas rock and roll home. If you're not sure what he's looking for, I'll be happy to spell it out. He's the 6. He's looking for your 9. We aren't changing any lives here, but we are feeling good and having a little bit of a laugh. This song was meant for drinking beer and laughing with your pals. Frank, you got my 9?
Oh, I got 9 on it, my pal. Listen, as Mark said, we aren't changing lives. This isn't, protecting the manatees, or Debbie, the time life operator here, where the band is not taking themselves seriously at all, and that's the beauty about it. So everyone relax, enjoy the song, like Marc said, have beer with your pals, or whatever your drink of choice is, and just enjoy Dusty on the showcase of vocals here.
There you go. Well, we're right up to track 6, another famous one from the band here, a song people have heard a few times. It's called Legs.
I think people have heard this one.
I think they've heard this one. So rocketing the band into another atmosphere, we get this absolute classic number paying homage to long-legged women all across the globe. Legs is tangled up in the controversy with Lyndon Hudson.
There's that name again.
That engineer Terry Manning is responsible for all of the musical parts, save the guitar and the vocals on this record. And Dusty and Frank are credited only on the album, but didn't actually play on the track. Longtime stage manager David Blaney wrote in his book, Sharp Dressed Man. Oh, it's funny. He was more than happy to steal that title. That Lyndon Hudson should have had credit all over this record. Wow. Frank, does this change Legs or anything about the band for you at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. So many things in music out there have controversies surrounding them. But at the end of the day, listen, it's Billy, Dusty, and Frank who took, not me, Frank Beard, who took the song to the level of success and were able to sustain it with years of performances, busting their ass to make sure that every night when this song is performed, just like their other tracks, it's on par and it's perfect. It's a classic number. I always enjoyed the song as a kid listening to it. It was one of those ones that I didn't get annoyed with. Great tune, great song. I don't care the drama behind it. It kicks ass.
There you go. So track 7, Thug. Here we really feel that synthesizer and drum machine. This rock tune that starts out about driving a car, but turns into a tale of pulling a heist to grab some guns and loot that had been stashed by a dude who is in Alcatraz. Pretty cool. Cool. It's got a little of that laid back Texas shuffle, but with the constant drive of the drum machine, keeping it from going off the beaten path too far, with what sounds like a cool disjointed bass solo. But again, some controversy over who played that. So it's an interesting track. I loved the mood it sets. I don't know if the band owed this dude $600K for this fucking song. But as the But as the band understands, he needs to get paid. So, Frank.
Yeah.
How does a Thug hit you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm assuming, right, the people who played it are the people I assumed in this song. And Dusty shines like a star on this number, man. I mean, the bass, it hits you like a bungee cord and then keeps like slapping you back and forth. This track could make Les Claypool jealous. That's all I got to say.
Ooh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Track 8, it's one of Frank's favorite things. TV dinners.
Dude, totally.
From the future of synthesizers to classic blues riffs, TV Dinners is a tongue-in-cheek commentary on modern, for the early 80s, prepackaged, microwavable, ready-to-eat meals. Lyrically, you know what you're getting here, right? It's a song about TV dinners. It just and that's really just a device for this sweet little blues number with a killer riff in it, and I'm just all about it, Frank. Oh, and this was a single, and a little song called "Cheap Sunglasses" was the B-side. Wild, right, Frank?
Totally.
What do you got cooking?
Well, Marc, just call me Al from the Encore commercials, and I tell you what, if you're purchasing that Salisbury steak dinner, I'll be over at 6:30. Yeah, I have to watch this. Those commercials are that awesome. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, I totally do. I remember that you got the time and everything.
Yeah, he's like, I can't finish all this lasagna. My family's across the country. I'll bring my crew over 7:30, and then like the next person comes in the same thing. But yes, listen, TV dinners were a new thing in society at the time. Microwave, like everyone was just all totally in on it. The marketing was there, the advertising was there, and it's so cool, honestly, that there's a blues rock song based around it. Just as you're all about it, I'm all about it as well. So
there you go. Track 9, ladies and gentlemen. We're tugging right along here.
Oh,
we're talking about Dirty Dog, Frank.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, one of the lesser known tracks on the album here, we're treated to some more of that fast-paced tempo you've come to expect out of Eliminator at this point. The song centers around a relationship that has ended, telling that dog to get out of your yard, if you know what I mean. Lyrically, again, nothing life-changing here, but we've got some amazing guitar work, and the band sounds fantastic. Anything you'd like to add, my brother?
I mean, nothing other than it's a great song. Then again, that shows off Billy's amazing work. It flows nicely on the album, and when you're listening, of course, the album to the whole thing, like it just makes sense as far as its placement and again the overall flow to the album. So I think you accurately described it. It's definitely an enjoyable song for sure.
Absolutely. Here we go. Track 10. If I Could Only Flag Her Down. Here we have more of a classic rock with a big blues tone to it as Billy pines for a woman out of his league. We're treated to all of the pain and anguish he's feeling in the form of some clean and beautiful guitar work, while Dusty and Frank keep this blues number pulsing with that Texas rock sound they're so known for. A classic blues number for me. What about you, Frank? Are you trying to flag her down still?
Oh, always, my man. And I mean, this is what the band does so well. They keep classic blues elements and give it a taste of that Texas rock flavor. That's what makes this band special. That's what everyone was attracted to with this band. And again, they do it here. Another really cool track.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're at the last track of the album, believe it or not, buddy. Track 11, Bad Girl.
Bad Girl.
Closing track, and it kicks off feeling like you're in a small Texas roadhouse about to get your rock and roll fantasies delivered on stage. Bad Girl doesn't disappoint either. It's an old school fast car, hot babe rock and roll through and through, and it's a fun way to end the record by rounding out all of those synthesizers and drum machines with what the band does so well, which is just show up and fucking rock. It's a deep cut to close the album. Off, excuse me, but it feels so good you'll flip the record right over and just start it from the top. Frank,
yeah.
You got any bad girls at home?
Luckily, I do not. What a banger and a closer for this album, my friend. As you said, it has an old school sound, really incorporates everything the band was trying to go for in the year of 1983. Great stuff, great closer. What more could I say?
Man, I can't believe we just covered an absolute classic like Eliminator.
Oh,
why don't you start us off with your final thoughts on the album?
Yeah, so I think it's a crucial record for all genres during the 80s. Absolutely. This band is adjusting to the times and leveraging the use of videos without compromising the song quality. And it's amazing. And their previous albums were equally kick-ass. You get everything on this record. Legs, Give Me All Your Love, and Sharp Dressed Man. And then amazing tracks like Needy Tonight, Got Me Under Pressure, I Got Six. Listen, drama aside, okay, it's timeless. And when you think of this album, you think of the band. You don't think of the drama. Obviously, we didn't know about the drama. This album for me gets a firm 9 out of 10.
Firm. Nice.
What about you,
This
buddy?
is obviously such a pivotal part of ZZ Top's career that it felt like the natural place for us to start talking about a band like ZZ Top. 16 studio albums, and arguably their biggest album happened smack dab in the middle of their career. The band was actually obsessed with MTV and thought it was a documentary for hours before they realized it was its own TV channel. And the 3 very bold and risky songs, they created a brand new career for themselves. And I really think, make a goddamn video for Under Pressure. Don't do TV dinners as a single, and you've got a 4th hit.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
However, let's move on. The drummer was over. The drama over who gets writing and performing credits is on the album aside. This is clearly a carefully crafted and well thought out album that still holds up to this day, without a doubt, and will continue to do so for a long, long time. If you don't own this record already, I'd suggest you jump on it. I'm giving this guy, just like Frank, 9 out of 10. It is solid as hell. He and I talked about it. I was wishy-washy. This isn't my favorite ZZ Top album. 9 is a big score to give a band. This thing friggin' rules. So, Frank.
So excited.
In the intro, I mentioned what a great year 1983 was for music.
Oh, really was?
Yeah. So I thought we'd rank some of our favorite albums from that year. Would you care to go first, or you want to allow me?
I'll go first if that's okay.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, cool. No particular order.
Sure.
But my first, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Stray Cats fan, and Built for Speed, the first record came out, and it's amazing, and I own it and love it, and listen to it so much. They are the rockabilly band. Yeah, there you go.
It's crazy that Eliminator and Built for Speed came out in the same year.
Oh, insane.
So awesome.
Insane.
My first one, look, I've not been shy about this. When I was a kid, I absolutely fucking loved Michael Jackson, and Thriller came out in 83, man. It's a cool record. It's a cool song. I mean, really that album top to bottom is like amazing. It's really kind of crazy. But my first pick for 1983 is Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, I mean, timeless record that people still to this day try to emulate. And again, when you look at it, yeah, they called him the king of pop, but there were so many rock elements too. Obviously, with Eddie Van Halen's solo on "Beat It," and
which he didn't even show up for the music video.
Didn't even show up for the music video. I know, absolutely. And having two girls that are they just love music. And I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this, but anytime if there's ever like a Michael Jackson or Prince debate, it's always Michael Jackson, and it's not even to my girls, it's not even a debate. They would take any Michael Jackson song any day of the week over any Prince song. So
wow,
yeah.
Ooh,
I know.
You're up.
Yeah. Oh yes, I am. So obviously I'm a huge Tom Waits fan.
You are.
Everyone knows this. But Swordfish Trombones came out in 83. Now, this was the first in the trilogy. After that was Rain Dogs, probably could be my favorite record of all time. And then after that was Frank's Wild Years, which Swordfish Trombones is the first in his conscious effort to either sound like Captain Beefheart, or when him and his wife got together to say, okay, we're going to really go for this almost genre that you can't even try to figure out with pirate themed music, whatever the case is. It started here. So many classic songs on it. Swordfish Trombones.
Absolutely. My next one won't be a surprise for a lot of people. It's The Clash and Combat Rock.
Oh, man, amazing.
Yeah, it's a great record. It came out in such a pivotal point for the band, late in their career, still so full of just absolute classics. It's hard. It's hard to rank Clash albums. This always ends up near the top for me.
It is hard to rank them. You're right. And I think this one almost kind of gets overlooked, even though there's some massive hits on it. I think the album as a whole gets overlooked because of the
think so too.
Huge success of London Calling, and that their first album was so good, and that Sandinista is so big in general. I think this one gets underlooked.
I agree with that.
No, thank you. Think so?
You're up.
All right. So also in this year, Mark, Metallica's Kill 'Em All came out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We did an album, or we did an episode on Metallica. Check it out in the archives. Listen.
Full-blown spotlight, baby.
Full-blown spotlight, practically, right? Thrash, where punk and metal meet. I mean, I think it's displayed so amazingly on this album. Listen, a lot of the albums that came after that make Kill 'Em All maybe not everyone's favorite. It's such an amazing record. Record. So,
and if you listen to modern punk rock, heavy metal, most rock, Kill 'Em All was actually a really big point.
So true. Yes.
For what happened in everything rock and roll related after the 80s, that
absolutely.
There's a lot of people who can go ahead and shut the fuck up about complaining about Metallica.
Thank you so much, Mark.
I'll give those people something to complain about. Frank, one of my favorite albums from 1983. I listened to this thing way too much on CD.
Ooh,
Quiet Riot, Mental Health.
Wow.
Come on, feel the noise. Girls, rock your boys. I was annoying as a 12-year-old, and I still am now.
Or however that song goes. Look, I loved that song. There's something weird about it. Of course, Randy Rhoads would go on to join Ozzy solo.
Yeah.
It's just a cool ass record. In fact, Randy Rhoads was joining Ozzy solo, so he didn't even get a hit with Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
He's not even on that. So
No.
It's just kind of that weird thing where it's the right time, the right place, a great cover. And actually the album, I know I should probably listen to the whole album again, but I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, It's amazing that I had on 45 when I was a kid, and I would play it so frequently. And then to hear years later that it was a cover of this English band Slade, and you're like, wait, what? I didn't even know this, but
Yeah.
their version is still superior. So really badass. So cool.
Mhm.
All right, next for me is the also that year Violent Femmes self-titled album from '83 came out. If you want to trace back, and of course there is some rumblings of it in the 50s and of course the 60s and the Lower East Side, but if you want to trace back to where folk and punk kind of really got out there to the masses and became something viable, this is where it starts, right? To me, this is a lot of where it starts. Everyone knows Blister in the Sun. Kiss Off is an amazing tune, probably just one of my favorites from them, but everything is so cool on this. A unique band, just in so many different ways. But yeah, it's a classic.
Absolutely. Ironically, most people don't know this. I do go to people other than Frank for music recommendations. And recently, while trying to catch up on the Violent Femmes, because I know that Frank's a Violent Femmes head, somebody said, start at the beginning, start self-titled.
Yeah.
It's the best place to begin while getting into them.
Yeah.
So that might be an upcoming episode. I might ask you to do that one for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see. So maybe stay tuned. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I used to listen to this album all the time in high school because I thought I could bang goth chicks if I listened to it enough. And I just turned out loving this album. It's the Eurythmics and Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. Yeah. What? I was into goth girls. I was in high school. It was the fucking late 90s, dude. What else were you supposed to do?
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah.
Is that when Marilyn Manson covered the song too?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't think Marilyn Manson copied that so that he could get covered that so that he could bang goth girls, you're fucking wrong. Or goth boys, whatever he's into. Hey, look, I don't know.
Right.
I wasn't there.
Right.
However,
you weren't there. Yes.
This album rocks. Goth chicks are into it. They won't bang you just because you listen to it. Trust me, I know. However, it's a cool fucking record.
Marc's done the research, everyone. He's got the data.
I have. I did, yeah. 120 beats per minute. Goth girls are not interested.
Ew.
Ew.
All right, so the last one, and we did an episode on it, and it's again, it's just a record that's constantly played in the house. Is Huey Lewis? Huey Lewis in the News Sports. I mean,
there you go.
It came out in '83. Listen to the episode. I don't need to say anymore, but I love Huey Lewis in the News, and this album's great. So
yeah, listen to Huey slay that harmonica. That's all I'm going to say.
Amazing.
So my last one, David Bowie, 1983. This album really is super cool. We might do this as an episode, Frank, because I know that you're not as up on Bowie as maybe we need to be. I equally, there's some records I know and that I enjoy, but I am not deep
Dance.
Exactly. That's it. David Bowie's Let's
Modern
Dance,
Love is on here. I mean, without
it's such a good record. Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
I think it's going to be
a lot of
and
cool
obviously his catalog is so vast.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I am not familiar with enough of it, but I believe that this will probably be in his top 5 albums. Just as a society, as we look back on him, Let's Dance is so important that I think there's no way we're going to get away with.
I'm with you. And Modern Love is such a great tune, and yeah.
So, Frank, that was really a fun episode. Who knew?
So fun.
1983 was so wild.
It's so wild.
What do we have on the old schedule board for next week?
Fan request. So one Mr. Brian Brideau would like us to review Dr. Feelgood, the 1989 album from Motley Crue.
I actually mailed my copy of Dr. Feelgood to Brian. It came in a large box of records that I bought for like $5, and it was in there. And I was like, "Hey, dude, do you want this?" And he was like, "Yeah."
There you go.
Sent it to him.
Sent right to him.
Because I didn't want it. He also got Shout at the Devil, which is a much better album. Anyways,
yes.
We'll talk about Motley Crue next week. There'll be a lot of shit talk. It should be fun. I don't have to watch that movie again, do I?
No, you don't have to, my man. Listen, it's gonna be. I'll tell everyone this. There's gonna be challenging. I want to listen to it without maybe trying to just have in the back of my head Well, a couple of things. Number one being is things like Shout at the Devil is a vastly superior record, right? And kind of what, especially Vince Neil is like now, because if you hear the live performances, you're just like, oh, dude, I mean, he can't even hit any of the notes, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just eliminate that and just be like, hey, man, is this just a good album overall? What does that feel like? Because it's probably something that outside the hits, I have to see what are the deep tracks like,
Yeah. No, look, I'll not bring up that guy he killed, with that DUI. Because that's not important to the record. But anyways,
right.
Not making me watch that awful movie again.
There you go.
And hey, look, as we say all the time, if you want to know, we do. If you want to know what we think of a record, send us a comment wherever you find us, and we'll check it out. Maybe it's a hair metal classic. I'm doing some finger hair metal classic here.
Could be
finger quotes. Or maybe it's an obscure solo artist trying something new. We want your requests.
Yes.
Just know that we'll be as honest about the record you pick as we would about one of our own.
Oh, so yeah.
Be prepared for us not to like it, Greta Van Fleet. Send us cooler shit than Crew to listen to. I please.
That's right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Drop us a line. Be safe out there.
Oh, yeah. And please say it with me now. Oh, my. Oh, hell yes. Oh, bye. Recording has ended.